For today's spotlight interview, we welcome in FDU sophomore guard Terrence Brown. Terrence is leading the league, and he's eighth in the nation in scoring, averaging 21.6 points a game. Terrence, thanks for joining us today on the podcast.
No doubt. Appreciate you guys having me.
All right, so let's talk a little bit about your opener. You had Friday off, so you opened at Wagner on Sunday. We all know how hard it is to play Wagner. Solid defensive team. It's always a dogfight when you play it in Staten Island in front of their crowd. FDU falls behind immediately. You're down 17-4. Coach Castleberry calls timeout. After that stoppage, team woke up and it was like a whole new game out there. What happened in that timeout and what changed to allow you to pull it all together and become, to give a really solid offensive performance, both you and the team?
Really just coming into the game, a lot of the team was like under the weather. It's been a sickness going around, so a lot of the team was just under the weather, not really feeling good. So coming into the game, just trying to flush that out and try to get through the 40 minutes as much as possible. And then coach was just telling me to make as much as possible being a cutter to my teammates. So me coming out, as soon as they got their first bucket, you seen that they denied all the pass outs to me. I had about two or three players on me from the inbound. So coach was just saying just being as much of a cutter as possible and trying to get my teammates open looks with my cuts, and that ended up opening up for me too.
Yeah, actually, that was my next question, Terrence, I thought you did a great job moving without the basketball. You got Wagner on some backdoor cuts. You flashed into the lane a couple times, made some layups. So obviously that was part of the game plan going in, knowing that Wagner is so good at ball denial on the perimeter.
Yeah, for sure. Just being able to move without the ball, knowing that how good they are on the ball and with the off ball pressure, just being able to move without the ball and my cuts opening up not for only myself but shots for my teammates as well. So
And you had some unique acrobatic finishes at the rim against Wagner. It's not tough to finish around that rim, especially given how physical the Seahawks are. Most of the time you did it when you're going full speed. I just got to know, do you practice those finishes? Is it repetition? Do you have an assistant coach hitting you with a football pad while you're trying to finish in different angles?
yeah,
Like, how do you practice that part of your game?
really just getting a lot of reps in the gym with my coaching staff. They spend a lot of time with me late at night, early in the morning. So really just getting a lot of reps up, a lot of floaters, a lot of layups with Coach Hayes, and obviously shots. So really just building that confidence into myself, getting in here every morning, every night, and just repping it out. So yeah.
Terrence, let's talk a little bit about your background. You come from Minneapolis. How did you connect with Coach Castleberry, and why did you make the choice to come to FDU?
Uh, I said this so many times. Just me hearing from Coach Kiley while I was on the plane back from a visit at VMI. He was telling me how he just got the job. I was actually his first visit to bring. It's like he got the job a day before, or like a week before, and then I was his first visit. So, he just hit me up like they're really interested in my game, and then I was like, actually, I'm coming out to New Jersey to visit my family next week, so I'd love to work out for you guys. And then he was saying, yeah, like we could do an unofficial visit. I walked in to work out, and that's when Jack actually met me. Like he didn't even know who I was, and before I came into the gym, so he said he was just what stuck out to him was how much I led Coach or Sean Moore through the workout. Me and him worked out together, so he said what stuck out the most was how much I was leading him instead of him having to lead me, and then how much I was going at him during the workout. So yeah, and then he ended up offering me. And the thing that stuck out was just how much Coach Jack was saying, like, nothing's given over here. You got to earn everything that you get. So just coming in, earning my spot, earning everything that I've got so far, and keep earning. He doesn't treat me like anybody different on the team. Obviously, he holds me to high standards. Just wants the best out of me every single day. So that's really what I like about Coach Castleberry the most.
So were you involved to start getting involved with FDU? Was it before or after they made that tournament, the NCAA run?
It was after. Yeah, it was after. It was in April. So like I was coming back. They still were wearing all their March Madness gear when I came on my visit. So it was actually pretty cool. And then
How is how
the shoot I had, they had the NCAA patches on them. So
That's great. How is living in New Jersey compared with it's snowy here today a bit, but compared with snowy Minnesota?
Man, they got bodegas, they got delis. We don't got none of that. So if it's ever like super late, I could go get something to eat. We don't really got that. When we were in Minnesota, we played University of Minnesota. Jamil Morris, my teammate, he was my roommate, and it was like getting a little late. He had asked me and my mom like, is there any bodegas? I'm like, nah, bro. This city sleeps, you know. So, we're not in New York and New Jersey, bro. You got DoorDash, McDonald's or something.
Are you quick before I turn it back to Ryan? Are you a Vikings fan?
Yeah, even though we just lost yesterday to Detroit, we've been pretty good. Let's hope we get a first round win this year.
What about the T Wolves?
T-Will's been struggling, but yeah, I'm a big Anthony Edwards fan.
That's great. Is there somebody you model your game after? An NBA guy or a previous college player?
Definitely Allen Iverson. I really like Allen Iverson. I like Trey Mann. He plays on the Hornets right now. Um, John Morant, just a lot of those kind of guys.
Yeah, AI had that motor that you have, Terrence. And the thing that, I've noticed going from freshman to sophomore year is we've seen a huge jump in your usage rate. You went from 21% as a possession rate as a freshman, obviously a veteran laden squad on that team with Ansley and Sean Moore and Joe Munden and those guys. But now you're at 33%, which is top 15 in the country. Did Coach Jack talk to you about that this past off season about how you're going to have the ball in your hands a lot more? And if he did, how did you prepare for that role?
Um, didn't really say specifically like you're gonna have the ball way more. He was just saying like you're um you're gonna have a bigger role on this team and just instilling the confidence into me to come in every day, be a leader. Obviously, he just wanted me to just get better at all the little things, being a leader, talking to my teammates. Obviously knocking down an open shot. That was my biggest concern last season was just not being able to knock an open shot as much as I do this season. So, yeah, he didn't really tell me like your usage rate is gonna go up, but he definitely said like your role is gonna be bigger, and just be ready to come in and help the team win as much as possible.
And the thing that struck me when I talked to Coach about, your upside in the offseason was he wasn't talking about your offensive talents, but he was talking about your defensive upside. And we kind of saw it against Wagner. You had 2 blocks, you had 2 steals, you got out in the open floor and created transition opportunities off those turnovers. For you, what are the biggest keys in terms of being a really good defender?
Really just being active, super active on the ball. Coach Jack still gets on me every day. He says I'm not as active as I was as a freshman. He says he feels like I could be a little bit more active, a little bit more in the gaps. I agree with him. I feel like I play better defensively when I'm more in the gaps and I'm more actively talking low man, things like that. So, really, that's what I thrive off of, just making sure I'm always in the gaps. I'm always actively on the ball, pressuring the ball. I feel like we have better defensive possessions when we all pressure the ball. So, really, that in general.
Terrence, we were talking earlier, Ryan and I, about how challenging your non-conference schedule has been. And because of that, it's hard to, get a true picture of like who is FDU? Like what is FDU about coming into league play because you played all those high major teams. Tell me about how that schedule helped prepare you for the conference grind that you're facing right now.
Really just giving us the mental toughness. You know, we went through a lot through the non-conference schedule. Even though like we didn't come out with the wins, like I feel like it built us to come into conference play confident. Especially the last game, Boston College. You seen like we had a lot of strides where we could have won that game, and we just showed a lot of improvement from Miami all the way to there. We had a few strides in the Creighton game, I feel like, and then ultimately coming down to the Boston College game was definitely our best game against a high major. So I feel like all that just built our confidence up. Obviously, I feel like our record doesn't show how good we really are. So that's really what I take away from all those big games that we play. Obviously, the environment, things like that, just getting us ready for big crowds. And when we come into the NEC playing in front of 15, 16,000 people, it's unreal. So
What are some of the keys that you, in your mind, for FDU to not only challenge for an NEC crown but win it?
definitely just sticking together, trusting one another. being as efficient as possible, knocking down open shots and just obviously just trusting each other. I feel like as much as we trust each other, the more we get better and just being coming in every single day just to get better. That's what coach talks about the most. It's just you gotta just stack days. As much as we stack days, we just keep getting better. So
That's right. You always want to be better than you were yesterday, but not as good as you're going to be tomorrow. I guess that's
no.
how it goes, right?
Sure.
Awesome. So, Terrence, thank you for joining us today. Fans, you'll get to see FDU again this week. They play at Lemoyne on Friday, then NEC home opener against SFU on Sunday. Terrence, thanks so much for joining us and continued best of luck on and a great season for you and the Knights.
I appreciate you guys. Thank you guys for having me.